What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Peace, peace. This is
Yeah.
Campson and Ernest, the creators of Remnants Gathering.
Peace and love.
Man, we need a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Man,
Cause it's a lot of hate.
yeah, I, we was trying to go live at 12:12. And for those of you who've been studying metaphysics and have entered into your spiritual awakening, you understand why we wanted to go live at 12:12. However, YouTube made that a little difficult for us. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not using the app that we usually use to do videos so we can chat with you all live. We're having to use YouTube's app to do this. So that's why you're looking at a picture of us on another phone. I'm going to jump straight into it because I'm tired, I'm sleepy. However, my spirit cannot rest because of the comments and the things that I'm reading up under our most recent post about black love and about the pain that black men experience. Hey, Erica. Shout out to Erica up with us late night tonight.
Yeah, what's up, E?
Anybody else, it's all love. We want to shout you out. It's something special about hearing your name. So if we miss you, hey, Malia. Yeah.
Thank you. What's up, Malia? Yeah.
I don't know if y'all watched the video or read the comments, but boy, if y'all go over there and watch the video and read the comment section, prepare yourself. People calling each other bitches and hoes, people giving each other's addresses, saying, come see about me, I live here, what's your address? People are saying things like, yeah, I'm a swirler and my man will shoot you. And I like when I saw that, I was like, you know what? This can't wait. We going live. We're going live right now. This can't wait to try to email everybody, let them know we going live. So hit your notification button because we probably gonna have these impromptu videos more often.
Yep.
The house is quiet, so we're able to talk about this. But let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Why the media portrays interracial relationship only as desirable,
Desirable. Yeah.
but dysfunctional black love is always shown in the media.
Exactly.
We was sitting here thinking, and I was like, okay, we got a lot of people who like, yeah, I'm in an interracial thing. The black thing just wasn't working for me. I couldn't find love. I'm happy now. And I was sitting here wondering, do interracial relationships ever have difficulty? What do they go through? Are there any stigmas or stereotypes about interracial relationships? We couldn't even think of nothing. But it was like, wait a minute. Now, are black relationships portrayed in a dysfunctional manner?
Of
What are
course.
the issues of those relationships?
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't even stop. Like, we got a whole book wrote right now of videos we need to do because so many things came forward about this.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say, first of all, we are not trying to hurt or slander anybody who has chosen to deal with someone outside of their race because you could not find love within your own race. This is not that.
This is not what it's about.
This is all about empowerment, enlightenment through education. That's
Mm-hmm.
what this is about. That's the vibration that we're on.
Exactly.
But I have to ask y'all to start asking yourselves these questions and presenting it to other people. I have interracial relationships within my family. My great granddaddy was white. However, I really don't know what their struggles are.
Right.
Superhead, one of the only people, Superhead, Korean Stefan, I think is her name. She was
Mm-hmm.
like a porn star in the late 90s, early 2000s. She's one of the only people I've heard say, yeah, dating white guys I thought would be better, but it wasn't. She was very open and honest about it. And she said that it was great at first, but they started getting into arguments. Now, this Superhead talking now, this to me, this is one of the most open-minded people there is.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, when she would get into an argument with her white boyfriend, he would start mentioning things about how black women, that's why you can't find no man. That's why y'all can't keep a man. You black women are so angry. Y'all can go and pull up that interview. I think she did that interview with what's the man that do the after dark stuff. He kind of remind you of Tavis Smiley, but he not. Come on TV
Mm-hmm.
One late at night. And
Mm.
they did that show every night.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Y'all, what's the name of this show? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's called Something After Dark. and that show usually will air on TV1, and he's been doing it for a really long time. Well, anyway, if you Google Superhead, Korean Stephen talks about being in interracial relationships, it should come up. But she said that it was very abusive. She said emotionally it took a toll on her. He was a very good provider, but the arguments revealed something much deeper in him that she didn't know was there. So that's really one of the only people. The only other person I can think of is Michelle from the group Destiny Child, who her white boyfriend just dumped her because a lot of the stuff that was going on their reality TV show. Who else? You can't think of many people. What interracial relationships
Get a negative
can you
light
think
casted
of?
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of not one. How about this? How many movies have you watched where the white man was being mean and abusive and cruel to the black woman? How many movies have you watched about that? Hey, little kitty. Peace, we're doing good, good, good. As we up late night trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of any movies. I can't think of any movies or TV shows that portray interracial relationships in a truthful light.
Yeah.
They have to have obstacles.
They have to have challenges. They have to have fights and spats, like all relationships, all loving relationships. Two individuals that are totally different from one another and very unique coming together trying to coexist and build, you're gonna bump heads. So I mean that's just the reality of it. But the fact that just off the top of our head we can't think of one, two, three shows, movies that portray any type of negative perception or perspective, um, insight on an interracial relationship, man, that just shows you that it's an agenda in this programming. But on the flip side, we always seeing something negative as it relates to black relationships, black love.
That's all we see. Okay, so the first question we proposed to you all, I'm sure you all are thinking like, you probably can't think of nothing either that's ever been shown to have challenges in regards to interracial relationships on TV,
And the
except
ratio,
for
and the ratio
right.
is what's gonna be the kicker. If you do find some, the ratio to the interracial being negative toward versus the black love is not gonna balance out. Go ahead.
So if y'all can think of something, I guarantee you can think of more movies and TV shows about black love being dysfunctional than you can interracial love. So for those of you who are saying there's no agenda there, just stop waiting for a change to happen. It's not going to happen within the black community. Just give it up. We propose these questions so that you all can see that there's a deeper spiritual matter here. And whenever you're dealing with something on this level and you call yourself a spiritual person, you should be drawn to seek answers. Little Kitty says here in the UK, they portray interracial love as bad and as unusual. Wow. It's
In the
shocking. I'm
UK.
from a very mixed family, and such an attitude would have been unthinkable in my family. Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, little kitty, for dropping that note.
Right.
We see this is why we're proposing these questions, because you all live in other countries, it might be a little different.
Exactly.
The
Because
machine that's in America is founded on
division,
division, and it's founded upon abuse of a certain people.
strife. Exactly.
So, with that being said, there has to be an agenda. This cannot be a conspiracy. And it must be very important for billions of dollars to be spent pumping out movies and TV shows showing how dysfunctional black families and black couples are.
Yeah. Even the commercials, the latest commercials that we see on television, have started to incorporate a lot of mixed marriage or mixed relationships.
So we're asking people, why do black people have such a hard time getting in healthy relationships with another black person? Why is there so much self-hatred? Why
Mm-hmm.
do black men hate black women? Why do
Why do
black
black
women
women hate
seem to
black
hate black
men?
men? You can't help but ask these questions because we are suffering here, people. Do y'all not realize that black people are the only race on earth whose women are slandered constantly? You all are constantly being bombarded with negative portrayals of black women as well as black men.
Yeah.
Now, let me make this point. The only healthy, functional black relationship that I can think of from the media on TV is the Bill Cosby show.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it has to be a reason for that. Why a lot of us growing up didn't even know that you could be successful, be black, and have a family and love each other and grow together. We didn't even know that men like Bill Cosby was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us didn't have fathers like that.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us didn't have mothers like Claire Huxtable, who was affectionate and loving. A lot of young black men grew up with a mother who beat the hell out of them for everything. That's what we grew up with. We grew up around all of these things. So you have to ask yourself, why would they wait till this man is 80 plus years old to punish him for crimes done over 3 decades or more ago? Why would they hold that information
Mm-hmm.
to release it for a time such as this?
Mm-hmm.
The only one who a lot of us saw as being a positive,
Positive.
functional black family.
That's right.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are all of the accusers white women? Why? Was he not into raping black women? Or maybe that was just his choice. He liked white women a lot. However, to me that's sending a message. And that message is
Well, his wife was black.
we rape your we rape your women.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure that we perpetuate the trauma that we have caused and have been causing since we dragged y'all asses over here. How dare you try to do the same thing to our women? So we are going to crucify your old ass. We don't give a fuck how old you are. We could care less that you 80 plus, probably got some illnesses you dealing with. We don't care about none of that shit. We will rape whoever we want to, whenever we want to. We will use the casting couch to rape whoever we want to, whenever we want to, and we ain't gonna get no time for it. But if any one of you black men put a hand on a white woman in a way that we don't feel is okay, we're gonna drag you and crucify you. Y'all,
Yeah.
it's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Look at all the white people who have come forward accusing other white directors of raping them and being, what's the word, on the casting couch, being inappropriate,
Yeah. Yeah. Just misconduct.
sexual
Inappropriate.
misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them are doing time.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of one. If I'm wrong, correct me. Good
Yeah.
point, Malia. I don't know that, I hope that the law of reciprocity, reaping and sowing, is going to be at work here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even in the afterlife. All I know is reading them comments, it brought me to tears today. And I said, oh my goodness, my people are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you happen to be of another race, mixed, biracial, it don't matter what your background is. And if you are a spiritual person, and if you acknowledge these questions that you see right here, and if you now see that, it's something up here, then it is your duty as a spiritual person to try to vibrate love in a manner that we're not here to say you can't be in an interracial relationship. All we're saying is pay attention to how these relationships are portrayed in the media. There's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't power in a black man and a black woman coming together and learning to be functional, if there was no power in that, they would show us that image over and over and over. Just as they do with Caucasians, with Asians, with East Indians, Native Americans. Every other race on earth is portrayed to be a very functional, loving family structure except ours. Y'all can't deny this. So for those of you who are into the 5D thing, you're into the awakening, you're into raising your vibrations, you're understanding that we are creating the heaven and earth by our consciousness, by our collective mind. For those of you who are on that true spiritual quest, who have left religion, you're now just watching what you're eating. You're just being a more spiritual person.
That's right.
For those of you who are on that vibration, it is our duty to ask these questions so that we can continue to expose the shenanigans
That's right.
that the hidden hand is doing to manipulate us.
That's right.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
So for those of you who say, well, on the
Separation
5D
and
earth, it's
division.
not going to matter. Right. We say, no, on the 5D earth, it's still, this matters. This matters right now because it's an issue. Because our sisters and brothers are threatening to kill each other right now over on the other video. Now, we took some screenshots and we was going to show you what people are saying to each other, but we're not going to do that because I think it speaks for itself. And we just wanted to acknowledge this because it just dawned on us today that we just could not believe stuff started popping up from that video. Y'all got to go watch that and share that video, please. This message needs to get out because this is hurting our children. And the children that we hadn't even had yet is hurting them. We're passing down trauma. If you're not in a place where you can acknowledge that these things are true, then you are part of the problem. She says Native Americans are also portrayed as dysfunctional, but everybody now wants to be Native American. Wow. Now, little kitty, it's a little different over here. I can't think of one TV show or movie that portrayed Native Americans in a dysfunctional manner. Even the old westerns, I don't remember seeing them showing them to us as a dysfunctional family. So that's something, and you may be seeing that in the UK more than we are here. I don't know. All I know is
I think programming gonna be different from
right,
place
yeah.
to place.
So we're guessing that the predictive programming, like Ernest said, is a little different from one country to the other. It all goes back to the money. It all depends on what is going to bring in more money.
And what's your take on how they show the society in general?
Right. Little kitty, since you're over there, like how based on what the media show you about black people in America, what would you say is the depiction? Right.
Exactly.
Your general perception of black people in America. Now, y'all, little kitty is overseas. She's over the pond, as we would say. And so we're asking her, she's on the outside kind of looking in, what is the portrayal like? She says, no, it's in the U.S. Here they don't know what a Native American is. Wow. Okay. So a lot of the racial division in other countries, they they really don't look at it like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
hey, Tashawn, peace, brother. We see you in here with us up late night. Tashawn, aren't you dating a white girl? I'm not trying to get in your business. If you don't want to answer that, that's fine. But we're just having an open discussion. Okay, you're not. One of our Remnants Gathering members was saying that they were in an interracial relationship, and they were just kind of giving us a description of what that's like. So we were just wondering. I mean, what do y'all think? Are we wrong? Like, is there more dysfunctional black love seen and shown to us than any other race? Because I can't even think of a TV show or movie that has ever shown Asians to be dysfunctional.
I mean, you got coming from one of the biggest mega pastors. I mean, one of the biggest pastors of the country put out a book, says Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
When Tyler Perry and
TD
T.D. Jakes came together and did that movie.
Yeah. But TD Jakes wrote, didn't he?
Yeah, Tashawn.
Yeah. So we're not getting that from,
What's up, Demarcus?
we hadn't gotten it from any other. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah,
So
yeah.
why
So
is that? I have to ask, are other races not dysfunctional?
let me
It's
sit this right
programming
here.
us. Okay, baby. It's programming us. Tashawn
Sit.
said, yeah, it's programming us to act this way. Yeah. Y'all saying, because we're asking, why do y'all think this is the case? And Tashawn, you're saying basically it's because of predictive programming. I agree. So what is so threatening that this amount of money is spent to make sure black love is portrayed in a negative way? Division is very bad here. Little Kitty is saying the division is very bad there. I get the impression here that in the US, black people are portrayed as lazy and stupid. Here in the UK, they are also seen as criminals. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Little Kitty. Yeah. Okay. So this might be some international kind of stuff
Right,
with the
right,
predictive programming. Maybe it's just not a United States thing.
right.
Malia says they also let out certain frequencies as well that keep us in this mindset.
That's
That's
true.
exactly what Ernest was saying.
Yeah,
What was the
yeah.
book you mentioned, babe? The Silent Weapons.
Silent weapon for quiet
A
wars.
Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars.
Yeah.
Isn't he dead now?
Yeah, I mean, it was in the Pale Horse, the whole
The
Pale Horse
Pale Horse. Behold the Pale Horse, the book,
by Bill
talked
Cooper.
about the silent weapons.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
by Bill Cooper.
By Bill Cooper. And then see, when people talk about this, y'all, they end up dead. I don't know if y'all notice, but they, for some reason, this topic gets people in a whole lot of trouble. Let's see. DeMarcus says hip hop culture took black American culture down over the last 30 years to the point where we are now. I totally agree, DeMarcus. It's funny you said that. We got some screenshots we go try to put together. We really be wanting to show y'all now because our lives so busy. A lot of times we don't get a chance to do as many videos as we would like to. But you're right. Hip hop has definitely been a weapon of mass destruction. So
Yeah,
that is a very good point as to how do we get into this sunken place.
that's right.
Anybody else has something they want to add to being in this sunken place? We're going through the chat right now and addressing each of you. NGT, she says, y'all are absolutely right. I think it's because their population is on the decline. And Angie,
Who
I
population?
agree with you.
Who
She,
pop?
the population of Europeans, white
Oh,
people. Yeah, I have heard that on more than one occasion, and that by them promoting interracial relationships, it's a way to preserve. It's a way to continue having children
right.
because their population has been on decline for the last 15 to 20 years, and I think Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, Delbert Blair, and a few other people have like really good scholarship and to show that that is the truth. This is why fertility doctors and stuff like as a black person growing up, I didn't even know there were doctors for fertility outside of your OBGYN. I didn't know that. And so that probably was something created to help the population disparity happening where Caucasians are becoming the minority
And I was gonna say for population control,
for
they
population control.
they because they're painting us in that negative light. It does make it seem like we the ills as a people. We're the ill
Okay, so
in
as
society. You
so
know what I'm
black
saying?
people
You
are
get
kind of
rid of
like the black plague
yeah,
if you
you
look at what the media portrays of
yeah.
us. I got you. I agree, babe. Let's see. Tashawn says they making sure the black family never regains its power.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Y'all, why? Why is this such a big deal for them? Tell us why y'all think it's such a big deal. That's the huge question
Yeah.
of the day right there.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for them to spend so much money and put this much attention into making us continue to hate each other
Right.
to the point where we feel that a lot of black people feel the only solution is to date outside of their race. We've been listening to people on the comments on the new video we did. Green Onions, hey Green Onions, peace to you. We ain't seen you in a minute. Green Onions said trying to keep you hooked on gossip and drama. I agree that
Mm-hmm.
they definitely put us in a lot of reality TV shows and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it does. It just puts you in a man. It
Yeah,
just
lower
puts you in a lower
vibration.
vibration and negativities. It make you sad. You be like, oh man, for real.
Yeah, that's so true.
So I agree with you. To even call it love and hip hop, but you don't really see no love
Love.
on there,
You see
that lets
more.
you know
Yeah, you see more bitterness and yeah,
dysfunction.
yeah, exactly,
It should be
exactly.
dysfunction in hip hop.
And so that's exactly. And so then that becomes our that when you constantly see that over and over it again because it's the program, and then we begin to mold the way that we think about the opposite sexes in that manner. And so we look at women the way that they portrayed on TV to think that ah, women bitches ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? All they hoes. Vice versa. On the flip side, women look at men like, oh, niggas ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's all by design.
Look, the design is you can't deny it. And I'm getting a lot of people who trying to be high vibrational people and come out of that. People like that follow Infinite Waters
Yeah,
channel.
yeah,
I'm getting a lot of those people like, why y'all keep making videos about this? Why y'all keep talking about this? And that race doesn't matter and this, that, and the other. And I,
yes,
I get all of that. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah, but it do matter.
And by doing that, it keeps you from addressing the issue.
Yeah,
I think because we feel like the issue is so deep and the sunken place is so deep now, what can I do? So I'll just either be alone, just smash and dash, or date outside my race. I think we're in a place where a lot of us are giving up. And
mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's the answer, y'all. I feel like that's exactly what they want us to do as a collective. I
Yeah.
believe black love is something we should be fighting for.
Well, I mean,
Even if you ain't black, you ought to support black
love
people trying to learn how to love each
each other
other.
exactly. But I was just gonna say, um, because everything has been broken down from the beginning, that's the reason why somebody would say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about black love. Well, no, that's not true because, um, at one point in time, we understand that the black the black race was the first race,
Right.
and so why historically is it not presented in that fashion to let you know? But then as time went on, it was European washed or whitewashed to the point to where we don't even know our different places in history.
That how can you change the future and you don't know understand your history?
Right.
I agree with
But
you.
I'm saying even for somebody to say, well, it don't matter. Well,
It
it
does
mattered
matter.
back then.
Right. It
So much
matters.
so that they changed some things.
Yeah.
So it matters, but that's not.
We're gonna read some more of y'all comments too. We um Child 7328 says, what's up people? I think they are and shout out to you. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Um Hold on, let me finish reading what you said. We just got a new one. Okay. What's up, people? I think they are purposely keeping the queen and king divided so karma doesn't come to bite them in the ass for the atrocities that's been performed on our ancestors. That's a good
Hmm.
point
That's what
too.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good point.
That's a very valid point that
Yeah.
we have to keep the first race on this earth. We have to keep them divided if
Yeah.
we are to stay in
Power,
power.
exactly. But and then what we talked about, and we're gonna go further in depth. But we've been saying how our 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 ancestors were just willy lynched, and the effects of it and the result of it is what we see manifesting in our people today, in all of us descendants. We see that manifesting on a mass scale because men were conditioned and put in their place to be studs and to not not even have a heart and have a desire to be committed, but to just be procreators and bounce, create and bounce, create and bounce. And so were the women. They saw a benefit in being the bed wench. And so guess what? That was passed down subliminally, subconsciously. That was passed down genetically, um, to all of the descendants. And so now today we see it hard for our brothers and sisters to be in a relationship. We see it so much that the government system has pitted us against each other.
I agree. And little kitties just said, adding to what you said, she basically said that here they make all different groups hate each other, different ethnicities, socioeconomic groups, etc. She said their agenda is working. I've never seen so much hatred.
Wow.
And that's how we feel, y'all. This is the hatred seems to be at a pinnacle right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Tashawn says they know who we are, and it's about controlling us so we never return to our past greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our higher selves.
Yeah.
We agree, Tashawn.
Yeah.
You see comments steady popping up on those other videos, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
if we read, just pick one comment out of those videos and read it to y'all, y'all mouth go fall open. I declare, it ain't too many things would have made me be up this late trying to talk about this. I just couldn't even sleep.
Yeah.
And all of y'all are right. We do believe that these are the reasons that this is happening. However, you can't help but wonder, should we give up?
No.
For those of us who are single and we're noticing this, should you just go ahead and go to the other side, as they say? You know, should you just be gay? Or should you just be a eunuch? A eunuch?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It does put you in that place, because I know before me and Ernest realized we were twin flames, we ran into a lot of these struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And so we believe without a shout of a doubt that anyone who is participating in our mission here on earth, that you're going to have manifestations of that. And we do believe that love is being resurrected.
It is.
Not just black love, love period.
Period.
True love is being resurrected.
Exactly. It goes so deeper than what we, and for so long, no, it's very rare that you will probably find a great example of just the love that you may desire to have. Like, even if you had both parents at home, you may have seen the ups and downs. At the end of the day, you knew your parents loved one another, but depending on how it was expressed and how it was shown, it may have not been the greatest of an example. So if we've never had a great example, and who's to say what's great and what's not, but if we've never had a proper example, or at least a healthy example between a mother and a father, how can we know what love is like? How do we transmute love to one another, and we've never experienced it or seen it firsthand? And so we find ourselves learning as we go, and as we go, we trying to perfect ourselves and help one another to come to a level that where the love that we experience together, man, it's only something you can dream of.
And it's our duty for those who desire to have this kind of love, it is our duty.
It is.
To activate it. This is something that has to be activated within you.
We talking about tantric.
Yeah. It's
just deeper than what we've always thought it was.
Right. And even with Christianity, it made us feel as if tantric sex was wrong. I can remember reading the Kama Sutra as a Christian, and I felt like I needed to repent.
Yeah.
After reading the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
And it was just teaching sacred sex.
You almost thought it was like mild porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I cried, and I was like, Jesus, please forgive me for reading that. And it's so crazy because it's like my body is a temple. My body is a temple that holds God. I
Mm-hmm.
should know how the body is supposed to be used.
That's right.
And so other cultures have preserved that. But because our culture was taken away from us, we can't preserve it. We don't know the benefits of preserving it.
That's
And
right.
so, but every other race does that. How many East Indians do you all know that have a TV show that shows them portrayed in a negative light, or movie in your whole lifetime? We couldn't think of one.
They don't do
What about Asian? Or, or let oh, I know a good one. How about Latinos, Hispanics, Mexicans? Now, I would say they would be the next tier below us as far as the hatred that you see worldwide. However, they even have George
I
Lopez,
was just gonna
who
say
has a
George
TV
Lopez.
show about a family that has issues, but it's functional, it's
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah, it's
They at
good.
least have George Lopez,
Yeah, that's so true.
you know? And look, y'all look, if you are on a spiritual journey, claiming to be, my portable charger is in my backpack too, baby, over here.
Okay.
If you are on a spiritual journey, and if you acknowledge the atrocities that have been committed over a particular group of people, it is your duty as well to learn, understand, and enlighten others.
Yeah.
That's the whole spiritual quest. To me, being spiritual is about taking the underdog or the black sheep or the person who has been put through the ringer. To me, being a true spiritual person means that you acknowledge the people who have been downtrodden and oppressed and abused the most. You acknowledge it and you say, you know what, I might can't change it, I can't fix it all, but I can live in such a way that I am a ray of light for other people.
That's
You
right.
could be a teacher at school and you could not even be black, just be a teacher at school. And because you are spiritual, you acknowledge this. And so in your classroom, you begin dealing with your students in a way where it procures a certain type of love for each other.
That's good.
Everybody can do something within your realm of your circle of influence. It's gonna be in a little bit, yeah. Everybody can do something. I just need a cord.
Okay.
So I don't want y'all to feel like, well, because a lot of people keep telling me, Camson, Ernest, y'all beating a dead horse. Why are y'all still trying to help people? People don't want help. It's over with for them. They done gave up. People are telling me, look, I love black men, but I cannot go through anything else because I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I need to have my mind right to be able to raise my children, which I had by a black man who refused to make it work or stay. And you can't help but look at this and feel something. If you are spiritual, you should feel something. It ain't got nothing to do with. I don't even know what all I'm mixed with. Ernest don't even know what all he mixed with.
I got some Caucasian in me.
So,
And some native. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I mean, it
It,
is what it is.
it is what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead of looking at this as if we're perpetuating the division, we're looking at this as we're asking the right questions so that the wound can be healed, so the earth can truly be healed. Because to me, whatever is happening to us as a people and as a collective, it impacts the earth and vice versa. And so if we are desiring to create a new heaven and a new earth, for those of us who are changing the way we eat, we're learning to balance our chakras. We're learning what it means to set aside the ego and tap into my higher self. For those of us who are saying, you know what, I can't fix the whole world, but I can be a ray of sunshine within my circle of influence. For those of you who go to work, you might work in a corporate office and you see a lot of injustice, you see unfairness, and you know that you can't take over that whole company and fix that. But guess what? One person at a time,
That's
you
right.
can have a very positive impact on them.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that's why we keep talking about this, because every time I look up at the TV, I see something that just jolts me to pain, to where our sons and daughters, they don't. My daughter was like, mama, I'm not gonna have a husband like your husband. It's just not gonna happen.
Can I let me say this too? in light of everything that we saying, one of the things that I can truly say is that, and this is no attack on them, but this is an indictment on us as a people, that Caucasian men don't really put down their women. Regardless if they might cheat on them, they might abuse them. I don't see them degrading and demeaning them publicly as it's done for our culture.
Mm.
I just don't see it. I don't see it like that. And so I believe that they embrace their women as a whole.
So that's why it's probably easy for people to feel like, you know what, the answer is just going to and be with a Caucasian or someone outside of my race, because from a little girl or from a little boy my whole life, really 99% of what I've seen has been very positive, right? And 99% of what I've seen about black people has been very negative. So I must stay away from those people. We have to remember the media is a medium.
Yeah.
And the media
It's
has
presenting.
the sword. It wields the sword, like the sword of King Arthur, sword that only certain people could carry. The media has that power. You have to remember that the word is the sword, right? And so in the Bible, it talks about how the sword can separate bone from marrow. And that's a pretty deep separation, which means the media, through mediums, through channeling, through allowing other entities that are outside of our life spectrum to control the mindsets of the people on the mass level, is how they're able to keep control of the matrix. It's how they're able to continue to perpetuate trauma. Look, people is hurting.
Yep.
When I did that video in 2015, Why Black Men Hate Black Women, I had no idea that I was finna open up a can of worms like this. I didn't know. I was just being transparent about where I was. Here I am, pregnant, left alone to raise the baby. And not only that, but there was no compassion or sympathy really from anybody. And when I went into public places, or if I went to the doctor and I was by myself, the usually white or East Indian, or let's see, Asian doctors that I was working with at the time, they did not understand why such a beautiful, intelligent woman such as myself did not have any support from a father or father figure. So when I did that video, y'all, in 2015, I had been in a place of very deep, dark depression because I had been working on myself so much, I couldn't figure out how I ended up a statistic. And it really did, what it did was, I went hard for Jesus once again. This wasn't the first time, because everybody kept telling me Jesus is the answer. And, and I had one of the white doctors, because it was really bad, y'all. What I went through was really horrific. And I have never shared what I experienced with doctors of other races during my last pregnancy. But one of the things that I had said to me was, a lot of my black patients are either unwed or the father is nowhere in the picture. And the doctor basically was looking at me like, what's the issue? You can't get a husband? He had this confused look on his face. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, then you have to have some type of IQ. You went to school that long and learned a lot about anatomy. You had to learn a little psychology here and there. Do you mean to tell me that you don't notice how the media has perpetuated hatred among black people and has perpetuated an agenda to be divisive and has perpetuated white supremacy, that the civilization in which we're in is ruled by white people who are not depicted in a negative light? You haven't noticed? It just baffled me that he hadn't noticed that most mugshots of black men are black men the only ones that do things that are considered illegal. Ha- Do, do you not realize how many, what percentage? If the last time I checked, it was 3/5 ratio of black men. 85%, I believe, of black men are either doing time or have done time. The highest percentage among any race on this earth. So there are a few things that makes you say. Either black people are just that savage and brutal of a beast that they deserve this, or it's something deeper than that. Why is that? I know Asians that have these mafias. I've watched documentaries, but we hardly ever see a mugshot of them. There are, blue and white collar criminals. One of the only times we saw a significant amount of white people be charged with time is around the time when Martha Stewart got caught money laundering or something like that. It was something dealing with money. And there was a company, and this company was, I think, a stock and trade company. You remember this, babe? And they found out that they had been stealing millions and millions of dollars. That was one of the first times I seen a group of white people having to go to court and deal with the wrongdoing. I can't think of the name of that company, y'all. It was a huge company, and this was a huge thing for years. Yeah. But other than that, I can't think of anything. And it was dehumanizing for me to be questioned in that manner and to be treated as if something was wrong with me and that I didn't even deserve to have a baby. Matter of fact, this was said to me was something along the lines of, you all just need to be sterilized. I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but if this is your second child and you're still not married, and your socioeconomic status is where the taxpayers, people like me, are having to support you, you might want to go ahead and get sterilized. That was said to me. You should strongly consider that. Because babies to unwed mothers, that's a huge issue. And so I can just remember going home and I didn't even feel human. And I even questioned, should I bring this life into this world that's so cruel like this and has such an evil agenda going on. And so I did the video about the hatred that I noticed within the black community for each other. I did the video, and within probably a few weeks of doing that video, my twin flame and I were put together. And it wasn't a by chance thing. We were ready for each other. And on a speaking in terms of the law of attraction, the both of us unconsciously had been being prepared to be together. And we believe without a shadow of a doubt, the reason we created Remnants Gathering, y'all, we believe that one of the duties, one of our missions of this incarnation is to resurrect unconditional love, is to teach people what the difference between sacred sex and just recreational sex,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And so it's a love renaissance that has been given to us that we're supposed to get jump start.
Yeah.
And we believe that, as we said in the beginning of this, if you are listening to this and you have not met your twin flame, you desire to, and we're not saying your twin flame can't be another race, because it absolutely can. Right now, we're just dealing with what we see.
The hatred.
The hatred.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there are some people of other races. I know y'all might be like, okay, now that sounds a little reverse racism.
But vibrating the love frequency, when you see a lot of hate, you gonna be compelled to deal with it. And so that's all this is. If it was another race that was perpetuating a hatred amongst themselves, everybody that's resonating with a love frequency, you should be compelled to want to see, like, what is it that's have you so divided? What is it that got you so hateful? Because in all actuality, you can get caught up in the crossfire.
Um, I agree with what he's saying. Let me see what y'all saying right quick, because the whole purpose of us going live like this was to be able to talk to y'all.
Interact with y'all.
Yeah, because we see that this is a painful topic for a lot of us, and we're what we're gonna be doing before I read some more of your comments. What we plan on doing is creating some steps and like some studies that you can do, like the studies we did when we were first researching religion and who the Savior was and is the Messiah a real thing, and that led to the metaphysics of the Bible. Now we have a more spiritual understanding of the metaphors and such used in the Bible. Y'all know that whole journey. We want to put some studies together so that people can get results. We want y'all to be able to attract the ideal partner for you. That's our desire. We're still trying to figure out how to do that. So if y'all have any input as to some ideas of things that you think we can do, maybe even topics that can lead us in that direction, but one person at a time, we can change the world. And even if it fall on dead ears, that's okay too, because you never know when the seed that you have planted is going to bear fruit.
That's right.
And so for those of you who maybe are frustrated about this as well, and you're noticing it on TV like we are, channel that frustration and transmute it into energy that can be used to hold the vibration of love on earth. And so we have to, as spiritual people, we have to learn how to hold that vibration so strongly where we impact the atmosphere of everywhere that we go. That love just exudes us. Not that we are trying to learn to love, but become love. And we believe that that's how we can help each other. Let's see, let me read some comments. DeMarcus says, easy is just like how Pharaoh in the Bible conspired to kill the males of Israel because they feared Israel might join, and, basically as their enemies. There was a lot of that. And it's good you mentioned the Bible, because the Bible also talks about, we were reminded of this by a white guy who he calls himself Esau, the Edomite something, but he's basically saying that he comes from a school of thought that the descendants of Esau are being used to reprimand the descendants of Jacob. And so for those of you maybe who weren't into the Hebrew Israelite thing, to translate what he's saying is that the sons of Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and then it went on down, and you had Esau and Jacob, and then you had Esau, the birthright. He took the birthright of Jacob by tricking the father. All of that stuff, the purpose of that was to create division. So some of the stuff in the Bible can absolutely be used for very positive things here on earth today that will have a beautiful impact. However, you have to be honest and discern the things that are in there that are perpetuating the division further. And if you look at the date of when the Bible was put together, and we know about King James in 1611, we know about the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Trent. If you go back and continue to go back as far as possible and look at those things, what you will notice is this has been going on since the beginning of time, because even in the book of Genesis, it made it seem as if Cain and Abel just could not get along. It made it seem as if they were cut from two different fabrics. And so the division began very early with the foundational family of humanity. And who are the foundational people of humanity? This has been proven by science. It's black people. So even with the book of Genesis alone, you can see dysfunction within the family was being perpetuated to us. So for those of us who went into religion before escaping into spirituality, you have that indoctrination you need to deal with. So we do believe that one of the things that's going to have to happen for us to change this, and as I said again, you don't have to choose to be with a black person. That's your choice, and we're not here to tell people what to choose to do. However, the main thing that we should be doing as a spiritual people is being in support of the people who have been oppressed the most, and being in support of anything that is going to restore order, okay, into the family. And so, with that being said, the reprimanding being done by Esau, and this young man confessing to that in the comment section of the video, "Black man, I see your pain." I was even wondering, why was he even drawn to watch the video, more or less to come in and say, "Hey, we're taking black women." He was basically saying black women are coming to us because they're sick of black men dogging them out, and we're here to reprimand black men. And that's biblical stuff, but it's very divisive. And so you can't ignore hip hop, religion, media. Those are three of the most powerful hidden hands being used to keep the matrix going in the direction that it's been going in. So, Demarcus, thank you for sharing that about Pharaoh and Egypt and the division that was perpetuated within there as well. Let's see. Tashawn, I saw something pop up about confusing. Give me 1 second. I'm working my way through these. Okay, Flex Washington. What's up, Flex? Peace to you, bro. He says, because we're in this age of Aquarius, black families on that wave is dangerous for their power. We agree. We totally agree. By them perpetuating these things, it is exposing the truth. And because we're in the age of Aquarius, this is the age where the knowledge aboundeth much. And the Bible talks about how knowledge would go to and fro the earth, and how judgment would not come to the earth until the knowledge had reached the every four corners of the earth. And so because of the internet now, that knowledge is accessible to the four corners of the earth, which means that there is a timeline that we are on, and this is the part of the Bible that is accurate. There's a timeline that we are on where some form of justice is going to begin manifesting. And we believe that people like the Queen of England and her family, we know that a lot of the royalty in Britain was black royalty. Matter of fact, the royalty in almost every country was black nobility up until the birthright began getting stolen. And so this goes back to the Merovingians, the Peso dynasty. So actually the people who are considered kings and queens in these certain countries, it was the birthright that was stolen. Okay. And so with that being said, we know that those particular families are probably, I'm not going to say probably, those families are racist. And I have found old pictures showing how they would take their children to the shooting range, and they would train, and they would use a black man, the image of a black man, to shoot. And their fathers would teach them how savage black people were, and they needed to be controlled because they could not control themselves. And I want to say there was a documentary, and that documentary was showing the way Queen Elizabeth was raised and the things that she was taught. So this goes pretty deep, y'all. And Queen Elizabeth recently, her son married a black woman. Now she's mixed, she's biracial, but Meghan Markle, I think her name is. And so you have to wonder, why would a group of people, why would a bloodline who stole the throne from black nobility and claimed themselves as the heirs, the kings and queens, why all of a sudden would they go from oppressing black people? Because remember, they are the ones that run the United Nations, the Queen of England, and the Catholic Church. They are the ones that run most of the nations and the wars. They are the ones that make sure the vaccinations and stuff, and the AIDS virus, and all of these different things, that clean water is not available in certain parts of Africa and certain parts, even India. You have to wonder why all of a sudden the people that they hate, they have welcomed into their home. And not only that, but they would like for her to bear the seed for the next generation. Ask yourself that question. Why is that? So this is a big deal. And it is a topic that needs to be discussed and will continue to be discussed. And so y'all feedback is really helping us to do what we know we were put here to do. Malia says, when I listen to certain songs, my ears start ringing, and that's how I know not to listen to it. And same thing happens with food. That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's been like that for us too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Little Kitty. I read that one. Let me go down a little more. Okay. Demarcus, you're talking about I don't quite understand what you're saying, but you're saying same in US, we 45 males, I guess is what the M is for. I'm not sure. Demarcus, what you mean by that? Which is top 18% of recognized nations on earth. This society can't allow people with the history we have with them to align with the Muslim nation or any anti-US policy to destabilize us, society. If BA was thinking, if Black America, I assume, was thinking right, we would align with some nation opposed to us, so they have to put us in a state of confusion. Okay. So I think you just furthermore breaking down, use some statistics and stuff as to how divisive the elites and the cabal and the people that run the world have been. And they have been feeding this machine and this hatred. Erica Lopez says, I refuse to give up on black men. Erica, that is the attitude to have. Sister,
Certainly.
it's so great to hear you say that.
Certainly.
I mean, to me, one of the most important things that a spiritual person does is long suffering.
That's right.
And that you're willing to endure and make sacrifices for something that you believe is sacred and precious and divine. And that is so great, Erica. Maybe you should go and comment on that other video, because a lot of black men don't think women like you exist.
And I just want to say this too, while I'm thinking about it. If what we're saying and what we've discussed, everyone discussed, if it resonates with you, on your own personal social pages, just go and make a post and just hashtag Black Love Ain't Dead.
Yeah. Please.
However you want to make your post, but just hashtag Black Love Ain't Dead.
Yeah. And yeah, if y'all could do that, that'd be great, because we want to leave this world a better place than we came into it. And the best way to boost your spiritual quest, your spiritual awakening, is by helping the oppressed.
That's right.
So that's not just us, you know.
And without people being in a degenerative state, the only way that we can raise the entire vibration up is to deal with that which is malnourished, to deal with that which is
Can y'all hear him?
in the worst condition. You have to start with that and those that are in the worst condition to bring the morale of everybody up.
Great point, baby. You worded that perfectly. So y'all keep holding on to love. Don't let love die, especially love that seems to have a threat wrapped up in it. To the cabal, to the elites, to the people who run the world, to the people who fund the wars. Hold on to that vibration, and we appreciate y'all coming alongside of us.
Exactly.
Because this is a huge mission. This is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
And for us to be saying things like we're gonna do some twin flame activation, for us to be feeling like the light codes that we're receiving about these issues are gonna lead to a solution, and that solution is gonna lead to order, getting your house in order,
Right.
basically. That's huge, because a lot of people, they won't even take on something so great like this because it seems so impossible.
Exactly.
So Erica, keep holding on to love.
That's
because
right.
right before Ernest came into my life, I feel like I was in a spiritual warfare to hate black men. And I had so many wounds, and I was so scarred that I didn't even feel like it was possible. And so going to a different race was one of the solutions on the table for me. And the other solution was just being alone and not ever finding love. That was a solution that I feel like that was my only option, actually. So hold on to that, Erica, and let these brothers out here know, who are good guys and trying to do better. Let them know, look, we exist.
Yeah.
I'm not a unicorn.
Yeah.
We exist, but the media just don't let you see that we exist, but we do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Tashawn said it's confusion by design. Yes, it is. It
Yes, it
reminds me of
is.
33 arts of war.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's the same author who wrote the 48 Laws
Laws
of
of War.
Power.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so there is an art to this. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Angie, I hope I'm saying your name right. She says we appreciate the example you guys show us. See, that's thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It ain't
Yeah.
easy.
Ashe.
Man, yes. I shaded that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we here for, y'all.
Yep.
We want to be a solution.
That's right.
She says, here they don't want, little kitty says, here they don't want anyone to have a stable relationship. They want people to be single
Wow.
and promiscuous, and they promote adultery, and marriage is
Wow.
seen as a bad thing.
Wow.
She goes on to say, I get told I only don't find this normal because I'm from a Muslim country. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this stuff runs deep.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus says that's why they don't teach us to see ourselves as nation or a people that are larger than 200 current nation. We we taught to look at ourselves as people of color, minorities, and a subculture. I
That's
totally
agree.
agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Even how when you're filling out stuff and it asks you, are you black? But then it asks you, are you black and non-Hispanic? What difference does it
Does it
make?
make right?
It's not asking white people, are you white and
None, but
non-Hispanic? Or are you white and non-Asian? Like,
right,
what is that?
right.
It's a deeper reason behind everything that they're doing.
Yeah,
They're talking about how Christian fundamentalists from the U.S. told her that white culture is superior and everybody else should give up their culture.
wow, wow.
Wow, Pink Bubbles. Hey, Pink Bubbles. Peace to you. Hello, everyone. It sounds like a deep conversation. Oh, it's real deep. When you get a chance, go to the other video that we did recently, Man, I See Your Pain, and just read through the comment section, and you'll see why we felt it was important to jump on here tonight and just brainstorm with you all as to how do we get in this sunken place
Yeah.
and what are some possible ways of getting out. DeMarcus says at this point, a lot of Black Americans don't accept a reprobate, done accepted a reprobated mind.
Yeah.
Only a remnant of us are going to be saved. A lot of us don't want to give up evil or wickedness, and we understand where you're coming from.
Exactly.
I don't even think the mind is just reprobate. I think the mind has been traumatized, and so the soul is fragmented, and the mind is no longer capable of loving because of the trauma. That's where we're starting to
Yeah.
lean
Until
to.
until you go in and basically begin the healing process from all of the trauma. How can you build? It's just like a puzzle that has all of the pieces, whether no matter how many pieces it is, and you trying to put the puzzle together, but you got missing pieces.
And a
You
lot of the missing pieces is
it's just,
our history and things like that.
exactly.
And so,
Or you don't know that. We was just sharing a conversation earlier. Cam and I were talking about how in some family members take things to their grave. And you remember we was talking about that, how you might find out that your grandfather was
a Rolling
a
Stone.
Rolling Stone, and ended up having a child outside of his and your grandmother's relationship, and you got a cousin somewhere, or you got an uncle somewhere, or aunt somewhere. But a lot of families will just keep that, and nobody won't speak on it, and so you won't know. And so that's why we say what we say in regards to these matters like that.
Yeah, the trauma is passed down generation to generation.
Yeah, that's missing pieces.
Yeah. Comedian Angel Crowley, what's up to you? Peace. And that's what Eddie Griffin says. Television programming is telling lies to your vision and
Yeah.
programming your mind.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
When I was pregnant, my doctor just assumed I was a single mom. That's what Malia said. See what I'm
Okay.
talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
The stereotype is so. This is why so many black women are dying in the hospital when giving birth to babies. If you go look that up, black women have the highest statistics of death during pregnancy within hospitals in the United States of America. And a guy named Mr. Johnson went to the White House to talk to Congress about what happened to his wife and how she died. If
Yeah.
you all didn't know about that, just
Google
research
it.
it. Yeah, Google it, and you'll understand that this is very important.
And it's a big deal.
It's a very big deal
Yeah.
because we're dying, and we're dying in labor, and
Mm-hmm.
our children are being left without a mother, and it's avoidable. And
Mm-hmm.
there's even a white guy who comes to the defense of this couple,
Mm-hmm.
and he went over the statistics, and he couldn't even believe what he was reading.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it on his face that he felt pain
Mm-hmm.
for what we're experiencing post slavery.
Yeah.
So this just lets you know that slavery didn't end, it changed, formed.
Yeah. That's
That's
all.
all.
That's all.
Little Kitty says, doctors assume about me that I must be on welfare benefits and treat me as if I was stupid and uneducated. Little Kitty, that's a great point. Welfare, I'm sure it's very helpful. I've had to use it before, but it was definitely another weapon used to
To keep.
cause more
Oh
division.
yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
You got to go back to the point that you made
yeah.
in regards to a woman that's getting any type of government assistance, especially in forms of welfare and stuff like that. When they find out that you have a male or a man living with you, that they'll
You lose
threaten
your
to take it. Yeah,
benefits.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
and and honestly, y'all, me and Ernest kind of been dealing with that right now. So it's like you got to get your money, you got to get that bag some type of way so that you don't have to get any help from the government
That's right.
just to have a healthy relationship, because that's a form of a spiritual contract.
That's right.
Unfortunately, because a lot of us are not born into wealth, and we're not born into a situation where we can make money
Yeah.
like a lot of white people are.
Yeah.
A lot of them are born into
Well.
wealth. They're born
Mm-hmm.
with legacies. They're born with
Mm-hmm.
assets. They're born with land that's
Mm-hmm.
owned by the family. They
Mm-hmm.
they have a jump start on life, and we're having to start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And so that alone is another reason that we're in the state that we're in. And so a lot of us really, I didn't have a choice but to be on welfare. I worked, I went to school, I did everything I possibly could to put food on the table, and it just wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, little kitty, we get that. She says the reason black people have the highest percentage of conviction is to hide the crimes committed by the Caucasians, because Caucasians cannot be seen as criminal.
Wow.
I completely agree with you, and I want to say this too. I hear a lot of people say hip hop is just so wicked. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop the blame, hip hop the blame. Look at this rapper, that rapper. Oh my gosh, it's
But who run
disgusting. Look how they degrade women. And I would say to you, who owns the record labels?
it? Who run it?
Who run it?
Mm-hmm.
Who own distribution? Matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, when Dame Dash and them tried to get their own distribution company, look what happened to them.
Oh
They
yeah.
got all kinds of charges put on them.
Almost try to take their money.
They did take it, froze
Mm-hmm.
all their assets,
Mm-hmm.
and that just show you how deep this is. This is spiritual.
But yeah, every time any of the you got a number of artists that talk about that, and they talk about how when they tried to come together and form some type of alliance or something like that to have their own um, distribution or some control, that they were always busted up by the feds.
Yeah, or end up dead like Prince,
Yeah,
and like Tupac and
yeah,
Michael Jackson and
yeah.
Sam Cooke, and the list goes on and on. The people who were found dead. I think something was going on with Dunny. What's the guy name of Soul Train?
Don Simpson,
Cornelius.
Don Cornelius.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that somebody killed him, and it was just very suspicious. Don Cornelius blowing his brains out with a rifle. Like, how do you even reach the trigger on a rifle to blow your brains out? So I believe he was executed, and I believe that Soul Train was also one of the few positive things that we saw on TV, that
Mm-hmm.
included black people and other races, and it was very peaceful.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Actually,
whenever
that was a high vibe. That's
it was high
high
vibration,
vibration.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Little Kitty says, I constantly get told I should find a Caucasian man because they are so civilized, making
Wow.
me feel inferior. At the same time, I also always get told I'm not good enough for a white man.
Wow.
Little Kitty, you said a mouthful there, and that is so true. the perception we're
Those are
given is that white
stereotypes.
men are very civilized and black men are not. But again, who owns the media companies?
Yeah.
Jewish, Ashkenazi Jews, Khazarians. These are Turkish people who took over the birthright. Who owns the record
But
labels?
how was this country even established? It was
Right,
strong armed.
right.
It was strong armed by a group of people. Need we say more?
Yeah, and they were Caucasian.
What
That's
about
true.
Africa? What about over in Africa? What about what didn't happen in Africa?
I
It was
tell you
strong
what,
armed by a group of people. Need
yeah,
we say more?
yeah. I
So
mean,
who's savage?
who's
Who's
savage?
civilized?
Who did the Christian Crusades?
Need we say
Who
more?
who runs the pharmaceutical companies?
Say less. Exactly.
Always go to the top. Let's stop looking at the product of trauma and blaming them and begin looking at who's at the top of this. Who's
Hmm.
perpetuating this? Who has the money and the power to keep this machine of self-hatred and division going?
Yep.
You have to
Who
ask yourself that
profits off
question.
of it
Who
though?
profits off of it?
I mean,
Right.
that's what it's all about at
Right.
the end of the day.
Right.
That division breeds money.
Mm-hmm.
War, it's always said that war is big business.
Right.
So whatever type of war you got,
Oh, that's good, DeMarcus.
what you say?
He said this go what you was just saying. Marcus was replying to Malia,
Hmm.
and he was saying really the Jews didn't steal Yah, gave it to them. Yah said he was going to provoke us to jealousy with another people for Israel going forward after foreign gods. You
Mm,
said a mouthful there, and we can't get into the whole thing about that because it's so many secret things in the comment you just
yeah,
made that we want to do full teachings on.
yeah,
But just to point out why you mentioned that, that comment alone proves how divisive the Bible has
is,
been
yeah, yeah,
historically.
yeah, yeah,
That comment right there proves that it is a powerful weapon of
vision,
division and oppression.
yeah, yeah,
That's proof of that.
because it's drawing a line in the sand.
Right.
Hmm.
And I don't even know what kind of God that would call himself a God would try to bring about, use chaos to bring about order. Now, in terms of magic and metaphysics, chaos magic is taking the chaos and
Bringing it
bringing
into
something
order.
order and
Hmm.
something good from it.
Hmm.
So you have to question this God that many of us were taught to believe in. You
Hmm.
have to ask yourself, now, why would he perpetuate and provoke jealousy? But jealousy is sinful. So the very
To
thing that he's
create
saying
order.
is sinful, he's provoking it to create order. That's chaos magic. If you've
Hmm.
never heard the term chaos magic, look up chaos magic and you'll see what we mean about how that book has just been used to perpetuate the sunken place in which we're in now.
Because it is very metaphysical.
Very metaphysical. Yes, it is. Erica says, I know where true love lives for me. That's great, Erica. Hold on to
Yeah,
that.
hold on to it.
Comedian
I think
Angel
In Vogue.
Crowley.
I think In Vogue had a song. Hold on to your love.
In Vogue. Yeah, hold on to your love. That's a good one, baby. That should have been the intro on here. Because you definitely got to hold on to love right now because it
Man,
has
what?
grew cold.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you. It's the recording companies that promote that rap, which defeats our culture. Conscious rap was not promoted. That's so
That's
true.
so true.
You don't get you don't get spins if you're a conscious
Conscious
rapper.
rapper. Yeah.
And I believe that's why.
They keep talking all this love, love, love.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's not happening.
And Tashawn says they're also behind the Federal Reserve. That's
Hmm.
true.
Yeah.
And Green Onion says white is not Jewish. Yeah, it's so many y'all. It's so deep. We could be on here with y'all for hours,
Hmm.
just talking about this. It's so much more we want to say. I'll just give y'all some tidbits. Moving forward, we're going to be discussing the other weapons that have been used to get us to where we are now. We're going to discuss how Jesus actually was used to cause division. And one of the main points, and we know that this is not going to go over well with a lot of people. We know that this is going to strike a chord within a lot of people. And maybe even people who aren't practicing religion anymore, but you still have some particles, some remnants in you.
Some compartmentalization.
Right. And so this is definitely going to allow you to take down the wall if you have compartmentalized your beliefs.
Little
Okay.
pockets here and there.
Yeah. So Jesus is definitely one of the weapons that have been used to lead us to where we are now with the self-hatred being perpetuated and the breakup of the family. And just to give you all a tidbit of why we say that, but the light code that we receive, and this is after much studying, much fasting, and just sitting on this. We don't bring this information to y'all as soon as we get it. We want to sit on it for a little while and see how much it resonates and get some confirmation. But if you think about it, the story of Jesus, he took 12 disciples, 12 men who were fishermen, among other things. They were working men. So it's safe to assume that at least some of these men had wives and children. So if these men went to follow Jesus, that means that they were no longer able to provide for their wives and their children. And so you have to ask yourself, why have we been pressed to believe in a Messiah that took 12 men away from his family to follow him? Isn't that the opposite of the teachings of Jesus in the Bible? Isn't a man who doesn't take care of those in his own household worse than a pagan, an unbeliever? Didn't Jesus come to bring unity and restore the family? So you have to ask yourself these questions, and a lot of this is going to lead to the answers. So yes, religion has been used, but specifically Jesus has been used, and it has divided families.
Let that one soak in.
Yeah.
It may come as, yeah, but yeah. Just let that one soak in.
So, yes, I think that's the gist of it. It's so much more we could get into, but go and watch the video, Why Black Men Hate Black Women. I did a part 2 where I got into the Willie Lynch letters. Check that out too. Huh? Okay. And watch the most recent one, Black Man, I See Your Pain. I thought that people would be receptive and it would resonate, but that's not the feedback we're getting. Most of the feedback we're getting is very negative, and it almost seems as if the ability to have compassion for each other is just impossible.
And that's the man. You said that. Thank you. So that's the whole
They can't hear
premise.
you.
That was the whole premise. Y'all remember a few videos back we were talking about how it's time to operate and move with compassion.
Yes.
Gratitude and compassion.
Oh yeah, go watch the video, the activation of compassion, that 11-11-11 video we did. We gave a whole study, a worksheet, questions to work through so that you're able to actually heal and open your heart chakra, because we're all wounded. It don't matter what race you are. If you was born into this world and you're in this matrix, you are wounded. And so all of us need heart chakra healing. All of us need salve applied to our wounds so that we can live out of a place of compassion for others. And that includes compassion for those who have caused harm and pain to us. Being able to live out of your heart chakra that way, living out of love and compassion, that's going to put you on the map, right? That's going to be a pin dropped on the map so that your twin flame can find you, or the relationship can be restored if it's someone who's an ex that you feel was a twin flame. That is going to help you. So make sure y'all check that out. The link is in the description of that video, the 11-11 compassion video. That is the key and the solution to most of the issues that we're experiencing on this 3D earth right now.
That's right.
So, and don't forget, when you share this, do hashtag Black Love Ain't Dead, because people need hope. And children are being raised alone in broken homes and being abused because the parent is heartbroken and hurt. And so because we know that you all are remnants being gathered, it is our duty to let people see what love looks like and
That's right.
feels like.
That's right.
So we love y'all so much. Thank y'all for getting on here with us so late at night.
Indeed, indeed.
And we'll be looking for y'all comments on these videos we mentioned. And we can't wait to hear what you all think.
Yeah.
So peace, love to you all.
Peace, love, and light. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, we do. And
All
have a
right.
good night and a safe New Year.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what we're going to do for New Year's as far as something involving Remnants Gathering. We always want to include you all. So if we come up with something, I'm going to meditate tonight and see what's given to me. And hopefully we'll have something really, really great and beautiful to share with you all to
Yeah.
jumpstart the year so that you're able to manifest the reality in 2019 that you could not manifest prior to.
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome, comedian Angel Crowley. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Good night.